Hey guys, this is meteorologist Alan Smith with AdventureForecast.com. I'm here today to give you a weather forecast update for the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies. As we see ahead, we're going to be in for a stretch of cooler than average temperatures as we head into late June, and also some wet and even snowy weather across parts of the Northern Rockies. So let's go ahead and take a look at the current upper level analysis. We can see here this is a loop over the past 24 hours, a strong trough of low pressure pushing into the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies. And this is the jet stream out ahead of it, dipping into Idaho, Montana, northern Wyoming as well. This has been responsible for windy conditions over the past 12 to 24 hours, and we're definitely getting it this morning as well. Let's look at the current hazards from the National Weather Service. As we can see, some things you wouldn't normally expect in late June. I think the summer solstice is tomorrow, maybe. Today's June 20th, so it's usually right around now. But we have winter weather advisories in effect for parts of Montana, such as the Bitterroot Mountains down into the Gallatin, Madison, and Beartooth ranges in southwest Montana outside of Bozeman. In Oregon, we have freeze warnings for the Central Basin in Oregon, which is not something too common this late in the year. And as I touched on with the jet stream moving in, we have high wind warnings and advisories across the Snake River Plain getting into eastern Idaho. Over the next 3 days, this is just one model, a NOAA model's projection of precipitation over the next 3 days. As we can see, Montana and the northern half of Idaho are going to be particularly wet. Cascades are going to get some good moisture out of this as well. As we get into Wyoming, Yellowstone, a little bit less in the Tetons and Wind Rivers compared to farther north. The way this trough's going to be set up, it's going to be kind of split where the best moisture and energy is going to be. So western Wyoming, even though we're going to get some precipitation out of this, it's actually going to be a little less wet compared to areas north and south. Utah, Colorado look to get more of the moisture as well. So we actually have a pretty wintry side to this system as well. This is it's a very strong and cold trough of low pressure for this late in the year. So we see higher elevation areas are going to get snow over the next 3 days. Snow levels up around Glacier National Park, around falling as low as 5,000 feet today and tomorrow. As we get farther south, we're looking at snow levels 7,000 feet in southwest Montana, closer to 8,000 feet in eastern Idaho and into the Tetons and Yellowstone and Wyoming. But still, it looks like some areas are going to pick up some decent snowfall out of this. This is from the NAM model, so it's just one model's projected snowfall amounts. But yeah, it looks like the southwest Montana area is going to be the most heavily favored for snowfall. I think Glacier National Park is going to see some decent snowfall, even though this model doesn't seem to be picking it up for whatever reason. And Canadian Rockies as well, they're getting some snow around Lake Louise, some of the higher elevations in those areas this morning, and that should continue today. So let's go through the day by day now. Thursday, this is going to be the most active day in terms of precipitation over the next few days with this low pressure system moving in. Most areas are going to be seeing some rainfall today. The Washington Cascades are going to get some good moisture out of this, stretching into the Canadian Rockies where we're seeing that rain and snow this morning as well into Glacier National Park. Northern central Idaho in particular are going to see heavier precipitation amounts. A little bit less so once we get to Sun Valley and the Sawtooth. So we'll probably see some showers there, but it doesn't look as wet there as it does farther north. Same with the greater Yellowstone area. This looks like a very good system with possibly some heavy snowfall in the Gallatin, Madison ranges of southwest Montana outside of Bozeman. Moisture drops off some as we get into Yellowstone and the Tetons and the Wind River range. We'll still see some showers, mainly late this afternoon and overnight in this area, but not as much as what we'll see up north. However, cold fronts moving through this whole region today, so we're going to see a significant cool down with well below average temperatures to follow on Friday. as we can see here, we've got this deep trough of low pressure in place. This is something you would normally see more of a springtime event. Not as common this late into June, although certainly not unheard of, as we do seem to get something like this in the core of the summertime every couple of years or so. Farther north in Glacier, it's even more common than that. The farther north you go, the more likely you are to get a late season system. But either way, Friday we're going to see continued shower activity across most areas with a shift of the focus farther east, so we'll be along and east of the Continental Divide. We're going to see another disturbance arrive from the northwest associated with this trough, so this will focus a lot of the moisture in Glacier National Park once again. It looks like a wet day. If you're planning on traveling, hiking in the higher terrain of Glacier, I'm not really sure how melted out it is there yet anyways, but above 6,000 feet, you're likely going to be getting some snow. So keep that in mind if you have outdoor plans in these areas. Beartooth Mountains look a little more favored for showers tomorrow and snow up high, with less more isolated shower activity in the Tetons, Yellowstone, with some showers, and Sawtooths of Idaho as well. As we get into Saturday, we see this trough of low pressure still firmly entrenched over the Rockies. I do think we're going to see some of the heavier precipitation shift southward into Colorado and Utah on this day, with just some lighter amounts compared to recent days elsewhere. And I do think over the next 3 days we're going to be seeing more shower versus thunderstorm activity with the colder air mass in place. It's going to be favoring more just rain showers and, of course, snow showers at the higher elevations. We'll probably see some isolated lightning out there, but I don't think it's going to be as prevalent as it has been recently, just with that cold air mass on place. Sunday, the low pressure system finally starts to move off to the east, so that's going to lead to somewhat quieter conditions across the area, although not entirely. We're still going to see some isolated rain showers and well below average temperatures continuing. And even though Saturday looked a little drier across the Cascades and Washington, we're going to see some showers start to move back into the area on Sunday, and cloudy conditions prevailing. But if you get into central Idaho, Sun Valley, Sawtooth, Sunday looks like a pretty nice day, just a bit cooler than average. And same for the Tetons and Jackson Hole. Looks like a pretty nice day on Sunday with only some low chances for showers. Yellowstone maybe a little more, but doesn't look too bad there either. As we get into next week, we see we're in between systems on Monday. This low pressure system that affect us over the weekends moving off to the east, but we see another trough of low pressure deepening along the coast of the Pacific Northwest. So that's going to keep our weather pattern fairly unsettled through the next week, with temperatures maybe warming up a little bit through the early part of next week, but still remaining a little below average. And as I'll show you in a minute, we're going to see another cool down late next week. So for Monday, precipitation wise, still possibly some isolated showers, thunderstorms, southwest Montana, northwest Wyoming, but doesn't look too bad. Looks like a pretty nice day overall if you're getting out from Jackson Hole to Sun Valley. Up in Glacier National Park, looks like we're going to see a relative break as well. However, farther north in the Canadian Rockies, we see the next disturbance moving through. That's going to bring quite a bit of rain shower activity to Banff, Jasper areas. Farther west, we also see some light showers moving into the Olympics and the Cascades in Washington as well, where this cool and settled weather pattern remains in place. Tuesday's pattern looks very similar to Monday, not much of a change in precipitation coverage and chances. Spotty again, most areas. Cascades, I still think we're going to be seeing widespread cloud cover with light showers, just a cool, cloudy day out here. Less cloud cover elsewhere, just some isolated showers and thunderstorms across the Rockies. Canadian Rockies still look up to be on the wetter side on Tuesday. So we get into the later part of next week, the second half of next week, this trough of low pressure starts to push inland Wednesday through Friday, and this is going to lead to a cool and wet period once again, mainly from Washington over to the northern half of Idaho and into Montana, where Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is looking like an active period, more rain, possibly even some high elevation snow, although I don't think we're going to be seeing the snow levels quite as low as what we are today and tomorrow. Farther south in eastern Idaho into the Tetons and Yellowstones, precipitation chances look lower Wednesday through Friday compared to farther north. We'll still see some isolated showers and thunderstorms during this time, but as it stands at the moment with the track of this system, we should be missing out on the significant moisture in these areas. So while we'll likely see some cooler temperatures once again, below average temperatures, and possibly some breezy conditions at times, late next week does not look too bad for outdoor activities here. Just be prepared for some cooler than normal weather for the end of June. As we look into the long range, the 1 to 2 week period, this is NOAA's 8 to 14 day outlook from June 27th through July 3rd. We're continuing to see that look of below average temperatures across the Pacific Northwest and northern Rockies, which doesn't quite feel like summer, even though what the calendar says, but on the other hand, that will keep the fire danger lower as we're heading into the fire season. So that's not necessarily a bad thing either. Precipitation-wise, it still looks like favoring above normal moisture across most of the region in the 1 to 2 week period. The Tetons and Wind Rivers in Wyoming, the farther south you go, it looks like we're not going to see as much of a signal towards weather than normal conditions. Looks more close to average precipitation chances. During this time, we're probably going to see some periodic showers and thunderstorms, but it doesn't look particularly wet. And as we get into southern Wyoming, it might even be a little bit drier than normal. But that's all I've got for you today. It does look like an active weekend ahead. If you're going to be recreating, especially in Montana, be prepared for cooler and wetter, snowier conditions than usual. All right, have a great, safe weekend, and we will talk next time.